As we analyze the cardiovascular response of all the activities, we notice that the cardiac output increases, blood pressure increases, heart rate increases, and stroke volume increases in the slap shot, block, and swing. Although these are three very different sports, the quick exertion of energy causes these responses to occur.
Here we see our good friend Matt taking a powerful slap shot on goal in his broomball game. The action of taking the slap shot takes approximately 0.5 seconds to complete. It's a quick, intense movement to apply a lot of force to the ball. As Matt makes contact with the ball, his left hip flexors concentrically contract while the left hip extensors eccentrically contract, lifting his left foot off the ground. As he plants his foot on the ice, the left hip flexors relax into an eccentric contraction as the hip extensors concentrically contract. The foot planted on the ground represents an isometric contraction of the hamstrings, quadriceps, and calf muscles, the gastrocnemius, and the soleus. Moving to the upper extremity, Matt cocks his arm back to prepare for the shot, bending at the elbow, performing a concentric contraction of the bicep and an eccentric contraction of the triceps. His pectorals eccentrically contract as the shoulder opens up, and as he follows through, the pectorals concentrically contract. The teres major is concentrically contracting with the shoulder cocked back, and then eccentrically contracted at the end of the shot. As he follows through the shot, his elbow extends, the biceps eccentrically contract, and the triceps concentrically contract. There is also rotation of the abdominal muscles. To improve the force of the slap shot, Matt can strengthen his main muscle groups. The slap shot is a quick jolt of movement, so although endurance training will help for the sport of broomball altogether, strength training and practicing short bursts of explosive forces will improve his actions. The upper extremity plyometric activity, such as medicine ball tosses against a wall, can improve the explosive muscle memory of the biceps, triceps, pectorals, and teres major.
This video is a clip from a volleyball game where senior Jackie Jones blocks a ball from going onto her side of the court. This is a quick, high-intensity burst lasting around 1 second. In this volleyball block, Jackie squats down, generating a force against the ground. Her knees and hips are both flexed in this position, meaning the hamstrings are concentrically contracted and quadriceps are eccentrically contracted. The calf muscles at this time are eccentrically contracted. When Jackie uses her power and springs up from her squatting position, her legs straighten out as she shoots up into the air. The quads are concentrically contracted, while the hamstrings are eccentrically contracted. Her calf muscles are now concentrically contracted. At this same time, Jackie's arms are raised above her head. This action is shoulder flexion, and the deltoids are being concentrically contracted. Jackie's elbows are also in the state of extension, meaning her triceps are in concentric contraction, while her biceps are being eccentrically contracted. To help block the ball in the direction of the ground, Jackie slightly flexes the wrist, performing a concentric contraction of the wrist flexors, as the wrist extensors are eccentrically contracted. After she reaches her peak height, her arms relax to her sides and she lands in an athletic stance. The best thing for Jackie to do to increase her block would be increasing her leg strength by squatting and plyometric training such as box jumps. When she increases her strength, she will be able to increase the amount of power she'll be able to generate off the ground. Jackie can increase the weight and the repetitions of her squatting, as well as increase the height of box jumps to do this. When she can generate more power, Jackie will be able to jump higher and faster, giving her a better chance at always making sure she can block the incoming volleyball. This video shows student-athlete Allie Reed throughout the entirety of a golf swing. This activity takes about 3 seconds. The swing starts slowly, bringing the club back, and then Allie quickly powers through as she makes contact with the ball. To start out, Allie's feet are in an athletic stance and are planted on the ground. Meanwhile, her arms are extended down as she grips the club resting on the ground. When she takes the club back, her front arm is fully extended, while the elbow of her back arm is being flexed. The extended elbow consists of concentrically contracted triceps and eccentrically contracted biceps. The opposite is occurring in her flexed elbow. As the club is above Allie's head and in back of her body, her pectorals are concentrically contracted and her teres major is eccentrically contracted. As she reaches the peak of her swing, her core provides power to and swings her arms downward towards the ball. Her abdominal muscles are being activated to rotate her arms around her body. Here, her pectorals are eccentrically contracted and the teres major is concentrically contracted. After making contact with the ball, Allie's arms swing back up as she follows through. Strengthening her body as a whole will allow her to increase the distance that Allie can hit the ball. However, the best thing to do for training would be to increase the strength of her core and her ability to balance. Sit-ups, crunches, planking, and different abdominal workouts are a great way to increase abdominal strength. To work on balance, you could have her stand on an RX pad on one foot and have her swing or throw balls at her so she can focus on these activities within an unstable surface. A more functional way to do so would be to have Allie hit balls while balancing on one foot. That way, when she was to actually hit a golf ball, it will be a lot easier for her to balance. Golf is a very different sport, and there are a lot more mental factors to be considered to improve performance.
The ATP-PCR energy system is the simplest of the three basic energy systems. The other two are the glycolytic system and the oxidative system. To begin this process, phosphocreatine donates an inorganic phosphate that combines with adenosine diphosphate to form adenosine triphosphate, energy to fuel the body. The inorganic phosphate is released from the phosphocreatine by the enzyme creatine kinase. When there's a lot of ATP available for energy use, the creatine kinase is not needed. During the first few seconds of the activity, ATP remains at a constant level while the PCR is steadily decreasing because it has to keep replenishing the ATP that is being used. As the intensity of the activity increases to the point where not enough ATP is being produced at a fast enough rate, the glycolytic and oxidative systems kick in to provide more energy to the body. Each of the three activities shown in this video, the slapshot, the volleyball, and the golf swing, utilize the ATP-PCR system because the activities only last a few seconds and this process provides energy to the body for about the first 3 to 15 seconds in which the body is requiring energy for high-intensity exercises. The sports themselves require the addition of other energy systems, however, the actions performed are using the ATP-PCR system.